Friends, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states of America and across the world. We help clients live and work in America legally. Today, we're going to talk about 3 things that President Trump is trying to do to implement right before he leaves office in January 2021. Now, you want to watch all the way until the end because this could affect you or your family members. Number 1, President Trump has implemented a temporary final rule, essentially a pilot program. They call it a pilot program because it's only going to be valid and running for 6 months. Now, this temporary rule is going to apply to certain foreign nationals of certain countries who have a high percentage of people who currently are in the United States and have overstayed their visa. So President Trump's administration is really trying to prevent people from having the inclination or the tendency to overstay their visa because that is quite a high number. It's actually surprisingly not been talked about during his 4-year term. But of course, he focused on what his platform, his followers want to think about, and all they think about is the wall because it's symbolism, right? They don't actually think about the overall situation. So I can actually understand why they want to have this rule. However, with regard to this rule, though, it only applies to people who are applying for B1 or B2 visitor visa. So it's visiting for pleasure, tourism, or B2 visiting for business purposes. What this really means is that the applicant for the visitor visa has to pay one of the 3 tiers of the bond payment. It's going to be at $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000. And how they determine how much each applicant pays, that is beyond the scope of this video. It's actually not listed in the final rule. We'll provide a link to it in the description down below so you can take a look at all the text of it. But it starts on December 24th, Christmas Eve, until June 24th, 2021. You might wonder, what's the big deal? Couldn't President-elect Biden just reverse this? It's not as easy as people think. Let's look at DACA, for example. It was rescinded through a memo several years ago, and it's still operating. It's still an application that people can apply for if they received it before. If President-elect Biden wants to reverse or rescind or revoke certain immigration policies through executive action, he can certainly do that. But just like how President Trump had to go through so many different lawsuits, that's what he expected. That's why he did over 400 executive actions related to only immigration. And most of it is, and all of it is really to curb illegal and legal immigration. And of course, the illegal part is what the media only catches on to. There's a lot going on in terms of President Trump curbing legal immigration. And this is one of them. Now, you might ask, why is this important in the first place? Now, most of our clients who have overstayed their visitor visa or some other type of visa are here many years later now applying for an immigration benefit, a resident status, a green card, people call it. And one way that most people commonly know is through a U.S. citizen spouse. And also someone can apply through their U.S. citizen child who's over 21. And so a lot of our clients have been here for many years and can apply. The law allows someone to apply for this among many other requirements, but the main requirement is that they have had to have entered the country with some kind of visa. So they have to be legally admitted and inspected into the United States. So President Trump is trying to really curb this situation. And that way is called consular processing, where the immigrant applicant is waiting in their birth country for an interview. And so that could take at least 6 months to a year process. So you might ask specifically, how does the government figure this out? What is the cutoff rate that determine which countries that this applies to? And that is at 10%. Now you're probably wondering, what report is the government relying on? And that is a 2019 total overstay and exit report that they do actually every year. Now the highest rate that we found, and we'll show you the chart right on the screen here, highest rate is 37% from Djibouti. Iran is about 21%. Angola at 15.5% overstay rate. Actually, Chad is at 44%. Congo's up there. For my clients from China, not to worry on that. It's less than 1%, 0.83%. If an applicant from, let's say, China wants to enter the country, they would be fine because it's at less than 1%. And so if it's at 10% or more from the 2019 specifically, that report, then they will use that report to determine whether a person will need to pay a bond if they're from that country that's over 10% overstay rate. With everything in the media, people think the target in terms of immigration is from Mexico. And if you look at this report I'll show you right now, the overstay rate for Mexicans is 1.44%. And people from Canada is at less than 1%. So actually the target is really based on the numbers I provided is African and Middle Eastern countries. Thank you very much for tuning in all the way to the end. My name is John Ting, your host. Please hit subscribe down below if you're new to our channel. Hit the like button so you let us know that you've enjoyed our content. And also, please share the video to your friends. Join our Facebook group, Immigrant Guide and Support. All the links that I've mentioned is down below, so check that out. Until next time, please wear your mask.